It is a nice warm day here in Alabama, and I thought it would be a great time to talk about Delphi and some perjury. What? No. Are you really surprised? Well, hello, my silky friends. Yeah, let's talk about something I saw on X, and look, does the corruption go any deeper? And please, will somebody look into this? Come on. There are so many instances of this in the Delphi case. It is mind blowing. And yet, here we sit fighting for Richard Allen and due process. And it's laid right out there. Just somebody look at it, okay? Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Catastrophe. Girl, you are on it. And she gives us the receipts. Let's start with an affidavit because you know that's real, right? And let me put on my glasses. This is an affidavit by Tobe Leazenby. Now, you can read the whole thing if you will go to Catastrophe on X. You can download this whole thing. It was filed January 28th, 2025. Now, in this, old Tobe, he's defending himself for the transfer of Richard Allen, right? This is back right after his arrest in 2022. He says, and we're going to start with number 4. The defendant was moved to White County Jail due to overcrowding, not pursuant to a safekeeping order. Because we know in a safekeeping order, he would have to have an attorney. That is Richard Allen. That is part of due process. But he says, oh, no, this is not safekeeping. Yeah, let's see about that, Tobe. Okay, and let's go down to number 6. It is due to the safety and security of the defendant and to protect the jail staff and other officers handling the defendant due to extensive coverage of the case by an array of various media platforms. Now, I agree with that. People have been all over this like a duck on a June bug. But now let's look at number 7. Oh, my. That the court at no time gave me legal advice on the motion pertaining to safekeeping. Oh, no, the court, they didn't help at all. No legal advice. No legal advice. Listen to those words. No legal advice. All right? Just put it in the filing cabinet up here. Number 8, that there was no attorney listed as attorney of record for the defendant when I filed my motion. Now, I believe it was not until November 3rd. This was filed on November 2nd. It wasn't until November 3rd that Mr. Gibson said he would not be representing Richard Allen, and this had nothing to do with media. It was strictly a money thing. Because when Rick Allen found out how much it was going to be for his defense, he's like, I can't pay that, as most of us could not. Now let's look at number 9. It is my belief that the motion for safekeeping was in the best interest of the defendant and everyone involved to protect the defendant and everyone else involved in the case. Sounds good, right? Oh, but let's look at something else. Now, we are looking at a copy of the direct examination of Chief Deputy Tobe Leazenby. Now, this was held on June 15th, 2023. Okay. About a year and a half before this affidavit that we just read. Now, this is between Mr. Rosie and Tobe Leazenby, who was the sheriff in 2017 when the incident occurred. Now, he says, are you familiar with this document? Tobe says, yes. It was filed by you. Yes. Did you draft this motion yourself? Tobe says, actually, I had presented a similar motion to request, I should say, to the court. And as I recall, the court had actually come up or provided this particular document. Hey, wait a second, Tobe. Didn't you just say that you had no help from the court? But in 2023, you did have help for the court. Well, how much help? What does that mean? Okay, let's keep going. Mr. Rosie says, did you prepare that motion in your office on a computer, essentially? He says, I prepared a similar motion to this. Again, the wording was adjusted by the court. If the wording was adjusted by the court, then Mr. Leazenby, you had help. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong to get help, maybe. I don't know all the legal terms. I wouldn't know how to write a legal document, but I certainly wouldn't lie about it. So it goes on a little bit, establishing that yes, he had court help to draft the document. It was his idea. Okay. It was his idea, but the court helped him. But let's go on. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Mr. Rosie says, okay, why don't we just get down to brass tacks here? Did you offer up any emails with threats on Mr. Allen's life or on jail staff or anything like that to the judge with your original pleading? He says, no, sir. The only thing that I had mentioned was obviously this being high profile. Again, it's similar to the wording. Because in this, he's been saying, well, the wording that he had originally said and the court's wording were similar. Similar. But basically, Tobe didn't know how to write a legal document. And as much as I diss on Tobe, I get it. So Rosie says, okay, so the way I understand is this: you didn't offer up any supporting documentation at all other than just your thoughts about high profile cases in the media, which is frankly referenced in here. Yes. What? Wait, you did what? But okay. You didn't receive in advance of this particular circumstance any audio threats from anyone that you shared with the judge. Somebody called your sheriff's department and said something on the phone. Tobe says, no direct threats to me as sheriff of the county. Rosie says, did you provide any kind of digital media communications or anything like that at all to the judge before this was finalized? No. All right, I'm going to go on down here to. So Rosie says, let me direct your attention to paragraph 3. It says, quote, the defendant has been charged in a high profile cause creating potential safety and security concerns because of extensive coverage from an array of various media platforms, both mainstream and social, throughout this state, the United States, and the world. Well, I agree. It has been a worldwide attention case. And he says, yes, sir. And so it is fair to say that your concerns were based on potential threats, not any material threats to your life. Correct. Or Mr. Allen's life. Correct. Or the lives of any of the law enforcement officers involved in this case. Tobe says, correct. Nay, Sachi. All right, in paragraph 4, it says, the defendant has been charged and said high profile cause it is felt by the undersigned potential safety and security concerns exist involving not only the defendant but also jail facilities in Carroll and White counties within the state of Indiana. Your words, right? Yes. Okay, were there any specific material threats made on you, your staff, or on Mr. Allen's life that support those words? No, sir. So Rosie is now reading further. Quote, I cannot provide the services, attention, or supervision necessary to protect or meet the defendant's needs or to ensure, protect, and guarantee the safety or security of the defendant, staff, or facilities. Those are your words, right? Yes, sir. And do you acknowledge that there hasn't been an immediate threat on your facility, even as we sit here today in June of 2023? Yes. So basically, there you have it. Tobe said, oh, the court didn't help me at all write this document. And it clearly shows in his questioning earlier, a year and a half before, that he said, oh, well, what? There weren't actually any threats. Like nobody called, nobody said anything, nobody sent me an email threatening me or the staff or Richard Allen. Nobody. But it's such a high profile case, that the threat would have to be huge. We have to move Mr. Allen for safekeeping without an attorney. You see, this is just one of many problems in the Delphi case. If you go back to the affidavits and the PCA, it's again full of horse pucky. So apparently in Carroll County, you can have an affidavit, sign your name to it. Yes, this is true. And then you can turn around and change it. You can change times, you can change descriptions, you can change car colors. Wow, that sounds like a great place to live if you're a criminal. All right, Sachi and I have had it on this. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Say hi to Sachi. Whatever you do, stay silky.